Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Rants. This is episode 21, believe it or not. I am your host, Mudcat. By now, you should know who I am if you've been listening to Rants long enough. If you don't know who I am, this is me. Here I am. Ta-da. Welcome. Guys, it has been a while since my last episode. It's almost been, we usually do this podcast every other Monday, and it has been, I missed the last Monday, so it's been almost 2 weeks since I've done a podcast. This is the very first episode 21, that's been late. And that is because if you've been missing the podcast, I was sick, and then that sickness led to laryngitis, which I still kind of am recovering from. My throat is still a little bit, tickly. I'm gonna try not to cough into the mic today. That's goal number one for this podcast. But it was kind of a decision that I had to make. Whether to focus on streaming or doing the podcast, because there were days where I literally wouldn't talk all day until I got to my stream, and so I had to kind of prioritize the stream for a while, and I wanted to wait to make sure I wasn't coughing on the mic and doing all that stuff and having to edit a bunch. So I hope you guys bared with me through that break. I'm sorry it was so long, not really within my control. I know that I've gotten messages and stuff. Actually, it really surprised me. Like so many people hit me up in the Discord or in a DM on Twitter or whatever, or just came to my stream and said, "Hey, when's the next episode of Rants?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And some of you were a little pushy about it. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're a little pushy about it. You're really like, "I don't give a shit that you're sick. You need to do an episode of Rants." But nonetheless, here we are, back on schedule. I actually am going to do this one, and I'm probably going to do another one, turn around and do another one almost right away, because I got to get the next one out for the next week to make sure we're back on schedule through episode 22, where we should be for this amount of time. So again, guys, I apologize for the fact that I was sick and that I couldn't get this out sooner. But hopefully you enjoy it. So this is also kind of a special occasion. I guess that time gave me some time to think and talk to some other people and kind of reevaluate the way I'm going to do some of these podcasts. Not from a standpoint of like content. Don't worry, guys. We're still going to rant. This is still Rants podcast. This is still me chewing the fat, shooting the shit, whatever you want to call it, about the things that irk me about streaming culture. And and then also some tips and tricks and general life as a streamer type stuff. So we're still in that vein, but the delivery method might be a little different. We're still going to have it as an audio podcast, but I'm actually recording the very first one as a video podcast too. This is not live video I'm talking about, not streaming it, but this is a pre-recorded podcast for the first time. And I think what I'll be doing is taking these videos, not only using these videos for my social media clips. We talked about social media and how you should be repurposing your content, right? This will be a little bit more of an engaging clip for social media for people to look at, I think. But it also will allow me to replay these on my stream as a rerun. And I think I'm going to try to do that during the lunch hour. So guys, if you're looking for more rants, you want to re-listen to it, or you missed one, or you want to watch the video instead, look for it. I don't know. It's going to take me a while to build up an inventory of video versus audio. So for a while, we won't have a ton of selection to choose from. So it might just be me running 1 or 2 episodes during that lunch hour, on loop for an hour or two. But hopefully it gets to the point where every day I can, randomize which episode it is. And it plays, maybe for a couple of hours. So that way it hits all the time zones, maybe 11 to 1 my time. That way it hits all the lunch time zones, basically. So we'll see, or at least do that, a number of days a week. That way you guys can have something to, consume during the day in a different format if you can't catch the podcast, or you want to catch it a different way. I think it'll also allow the podcast, to kind of get a few more roots in the web show directory on Mixer, and maybe bring some new ears and eyes to some of these topics we're talking about. And the goal of this podcast has always been, number one, to keep myself in the right mindset, to talk through some of the things that I think and make sure that I'm doing things the way I want to do them, but also to encourage other people to be thoughtful, purposeful. And so putting this in a spot or in a position where it can reach more people and more streamers, where maybe then, you know, they don't have to agree with the podcast and what I say, but at the very least, maybe they'll disagree enough to think about what they're doing and make a conscious decision rather than just pushing the go live button and you know, making shit content. So yeah, so there we are. All right, guys. So it's been 2 weeks. Where are we at? I know, you know, when we started this podcast, I had 300 followers. So every once in a while, we like to touch base and kind of see how the growth has been and see if, you know, what I'm saying on this podcast makes any sense. Does it equal growth? Well, for me, it has. We just hit 5,000 followers. We're just before PAX East of 2019, or in March of 2019. I got an E3 media badge, so that's exciting. So just that's the quick channel updates. The E3 thing, man, is like a life goal. You know, it's like a dream come true going to E3, right? It's really something else. So the fact that I got a media pass for it is kind of unreal. Going from guy watching E3 on his Xbox every year, you know, for years and years and years, to a guy who not only goes to E3 but gets to go to E3 for free as a press pass. So we'll probably do an E3 recap episode of Rants when we get there, just for the shits and giggles, because they gave me a media pass. I think I'm required, actually. We'll see. All right, guys, so that's the update. But so let's get into the topic. Enough of the hemming and the hawing. I know I won't do this every episode with the video. If you're watching, sorry. Had to kind of introduce this new format and where I've been and all this stuff. So we're going to talk about open lobbies today. Open lobbies, can I play? This kind of culture that is building and building and building. Specifically, I'm talking about more on Mixer. I don't see it as much on Twitch. And, you know, I spend most of my time on Mixer these days, so really I kind of have to speak from my perspective. I would love to talk authoritatively on all platforms, but I'm not on all platforms consistently enough. So I'm gonna gear this towards Mixer and open lobbies, guys. Man, this is something. If you've been in my streams, man, I have been just ripping and ripping and ripping and ripping day after day after day after day. We've been talking about this. And why? Because day after day after day after day, people come into my stream and say, can I play? Can I play? Can I play? Can I play? Some of those people follow first and then ask, can I play? After watching for 1 minute. Some of those people don't even follow. And they just come in hot. They've been in my stream about all of 5 seconds. Hey, you need a third? Need a second? Can I play? Are you doing open lobbies? Stuff like that. And I think that this, guys, I think it is hurting our platform as Mixer. I think it's hurting streaming content. And I think it's leading to a culture that is going to be negatively impacting us as streamers, and as viewers too. It impacts the viewer experience as well. When someone has to constantly ask, can I play? And the streamer has to constantly say no. And then the streamer has to explain why they say no over and over again. That takes away from whatever you're doing. It takes away from whatever moment, whatever other conversations you're having on stream. So open lobbies, man, they are really kind of sticking in my craw right now. I gotta say, at this point in my time, I don't like him at all. I don't like him at all. Now, you know, guys, things change over time. People's perspectives, people's ideas, people's thoughts change over time. You know, there was a time when I ran open lobbies. And I think I've been pretty honest on this podcast that, whatever I think now is what I think now. And if I've got other evidence or other ideas to support what I think later, changing your mind is not a bad thing, guys. That's one thing it's hard to learn as a streamer. Like when you say something or you do something and then later on you do something else, there's always somebody, man, searching back through your Twitter history being like, yeah, well, you said this on June 2nd of 2013. Well, you know what, man? People fucking change their minds, right? People are allowed to change their minds, and people should change their minds because you should evolve, you should grow, you should constantly be questioning what you think and why you think it. And I have reevaluated my position on open lobbies. Open lobbies for me, as a up and coming streamer, an unpartnered streamer, was something I did because it was easy follows. Like we're not gonna mince words about it, dude. It's easy follows. You get on a game. The way I liked to go about it was getting in a directory that was real small, like 100 people, less than 100 people, where the top viewership had like 20 or 30 people, and then the rest of the viewership dropped down from there to like 5 or 6 or 2 or 3. So all of the viewers were concentrated in the top spot, right? You get in a directory like that, you run open lobby, and then you wait for that top spot to go to bed, right? Maybe they host you. If not, you know, people catch that open lobby title and they start filtering in, and soon you take that top spot, right? It's an exposure thing. It's a strategy thing you can use. I mean, it's a viable strategy still today to find smaller lobbies and try to position yourself where people can see you. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, you got to be seen. It's an exposure thing. So, you know, so if you're not doing that already, maybe if you're a smaller streamer, I would suggest, you know, stop playing the big games all the time, and maybe every once in a while venture into some smaller categories. I think you'd be surprised. You'd be like, oh, there's only 40 people watching this. I think you'd be surprised how many followers you get from a directory where there's only 40 or 50 people watching when you're the top dog with 20 or 30 of those viewers out of the 40, you know? I think you'd be real surprised. You know, for instance, back when, again, to use For Honor as an example, when For Honor was 30, 40, 50, 60 people in the directory every day, you know, in a couple of weeks, I pulled 300-400 follows off of that directory playing open lobbies. So it's definitely a method that works, right? And open lobbies equal easier follows, right? People come in, they want to play, and so, you know, they readily follow. It doesn't matter if they enjoy your content, doesn't matter if they're going to come back or not. They're just following so they can play. You know, they're not necessarily looking to be part of your community. They're just looking to play. And you know, on the surface, this isn't a bad idea or whatever, because, you know, you're just like, well, who cares? You know, I'm playing with my community, I'm playing with people, and I enjoy playing with people. Yeah, you're right. I mean, on the surface, it doesn't sound that bad. On the surface, it's okay. Open lobbies is all right. It's kind of what we're doing here on Mixer, right? Building community and interacting, and but the problem is it's leading to a culture that is just, you know, filled with people following and begging for open lobbies and begging to play in every stream and across every game. And people don't always want to play with their followers, or people don't do that. You know, some people don't play with their followers at all. I prefer to play solo most of the time. You know, it's kind of my jam. Unless I'm playing with other streamers, like doing a co-stream or something special, I like to play solo. That's just because I like to interact with my chat. I like to have that high engagement, that high you know, streamer to chat engagement. And so one of the ways I do that is by playing solo. And so open lobbies kind of ruins this for a lot of people. Sorry if you're watching the video, I had to cough there. I muted myself. Don't worry. if you're listening to the podcast, then you know, you don't care. You're never gonna hear this. It's gonna be edited. This is the benefits of the video. So guys, the open lobby, the can I play culture, I think is it's a tricky subject. It's a tricky subject, because will people stop doing it? No, they're never gonna stop doing it now, because some people enjoy it, and then other people know that it's easy follows. But what's the problem? Why am I talking about this? Why do I give a shit? Like, you know, why am I being a stickler about open lobbies all of a sudden? You know, why bitch and moan about it? You know, well, it's just leading to a culture, this can I play culture. It's leading to this can I play culture where people are not coming to Mixer to view content. As a content creator, right, you are providing someone something. You're providing them entertainment. You might be providing them an environment to interact, to whatever, to become part of a community. So you're providing them with this service, and ideally, for lack of a better term, you're providing them with entertainment, right? Entertainment. I don't always like to think about it as entertainment. I like to think about it as more of a shared experience, although you could just say that's semantics if you want. But you're providing them this entertainment, quote unquote, yeah, air quotes here. But people aren't coming to Mixer for that now. They're coming for Mixer to find an LFG site, right? They're they're coming and they're saying, oh, I want to play with somebody, I don't have any friends, let me play with somebody on Mixer, because that's what it's for. Hold on, let me get the mic real close here, guys. Let me get it real close, and let me back it away because I'm about to yell. That's not what it's fucking for. Sorry, guys. You know, that's not what it's for. It's not an LFG site. This is an entertainment site. This is a site to come and view streams, to be entertained. You know what I mean? Like, people lose sight of that because they come in and everybody's running open lobbies. And so it just seems like, hey, this is the place to play with people. And again, maybe if you have the view of like, well, I like playing with the community and I like interacting with people, and like it's not a bad thing. It is a bad thing because it impacts more than just you. You know, it impacts the entire platform. When your chat, like literally, I've had this discussion we're having right now, this podcast. I've done this like the last 15 days in a row. This same discussion, this same podcast material, because every day there are dozens of can I play requests when I'm playing something like Apex. It's especially bad, I find, in the Battle Royale games. A little bit less in games like, you know, Sea of Thieves or Halo or COD. Or like it's a little bit less in those and more persistent in the Battle Royale scene. And it's leading to this culture of can I play, a viewer entitlement. So you have viewers who come in, they ask for the LFG. They're like, can I play? And they don't even in their brain, they don't even register that you might say no. That is the crazy thing, man. So if someone comes to my stream, they say, can I play? I say, no, thanks for the offer. I play solo, though I don't do open lobbies. The next phrase, the next thing they say is so telling. Let me set this back up for you. Can I play? I say, no, I don't do open lobbies. Viewer says, oh. Oof. Welp. Oh. They're at a loss for words. They don't know how to respond to that because they literally do not think that you will tell them no. They literally don't think that you're going to tell them no. They think that they say, can I play? And they get to play. That they come into your stream, they don't follow you, or maybe they do follow you, but they just followed you. They don't really view your content. They don't know anything about you. They don't know how your content works. They're not part of your community. They're not providing you anything. And they just expect you to say yes. And here's part of my problem with it is that a lot of these people that come in and say, can I play, are watching you from Xbox, right? They're watching you on Xbox. And so when they go to play with you, they stop watching your stream to play with you. They follow you. They don't give a shit about consuming your content. They're not going to watch your stream. They're not watching on their phone on the side or on their laptop. Although some people do. I got to be fair. Some people do. But a lot of these people won't. So you are bending over backwards. You're going out of your way you take the time out of your stream to set up the lobby because for some reason these people want to play, but when you send them an invite, they're not ready to go. They're like, oh shit, I got to turn my Xbox on, or I got to boot up the game and download the update. And then you're sitting there spinning your wheels for a few minutes on stream. And you know, maybe you've got 10, 15, 20, 100 other people, whatever you have, waiting for you to get this person in your lobby. So it's cutting into your entertainment. They don't give a shit about watching you as an entertainment source. They only give a shit about playing with you. And so they're not even going to watch you. And not that everything has to be tit for tat, quid pro quo. Like, you don't always have to be getting something out of every interaction with everybody. But as a streamer, you know, you're not doing this for your own health all the time. You know, you're trying to grow, you're trying to expand. You know, some of us are out there trying to make this a business, trying to make it a full-time gig. And so for the fact that these people will come in and say, can I play? You go out of your way to say yes. You take the time to get them in your lobby, even though they're not ready. And then, poof, they don't even view you while they're playing with you. Like, they don't even help your concurrent viewership, right? And so how fucked up is that, right? So it leads to this culture of like a viewer entitlement, where people come in and they expect to get to play. They don't care about you as an entertainment source, like I said, and they just are using you. They're just using you, man. And you allow them to use you because you want their follow, because all you give a shit about is that follow count. And listen, guys, I care about my follow count too, in the sense of like, I want to hit 5K. I want to hit 10K, because those are going to open doors for me as a streamer, as someone who wants to do this as a, you know, as a full-time job, as a career. A couple of those benchmarks are going to open up doors for me. So yes, of course, just like hitting 2,000 was important to me because I wanted to be partnered on Mixer. Like there are certain benchmarks that get your foot in the door in certain places, in certain ways. And so caring about them, paying attention to them, yeah, of course, like streamers pay attention to their numbers. Like I get it. I get it. It's, you know, we can't all the time turn off the number part of our brain as much as I think we should. But you know, you're enabling these people when you're doing these open lobbies because you just want those follower numbers. And you know, a lot of people out there, a lot of you guys out there, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 followers. Dude, you don't need the followers. What you need is concurrent viewership. You know, that's the bread and butter right now. Like, who cares if you've got 100,000 fucking followers if you only got 10 concurrent viewers, because all your concurrent viewers are not watching you when they're playing with you. You know, like if they're not watching you, they're not giving you sparks. They're not giving you embers. They're not subscribing to you. They're not chatting in your chat or giving you that viewership. They're not joining your Discord and becoming part of your community. They're not having conversations with you on Twitter. Like, and if you're focused, like someone like me, I'm focused on growing a good community. I'm focused on growing a place where people can come together and have this experience. And then outside of that experience, they can go hang out in the Discord. For instance, we've been playing D&D with Captain Robert, and I've really loved that, and I've enjoyed that. We could talk about that another day. But through that, I've had a lot of community members say, man, I really love D&D. I haven't played in a while. I want to get back into D&D. Or I wanted to get D&D for the first time. So what did I do? All these people were in my chat saying this at the same time, and I said, guys, you're all fucking sitting right here. Why don't you just play together? So I set up a place in the Discord for them to organize their game and voice channels for them to play the game, because that's what I want. You know, I want people who have met each other through my stream, right? They're all interested in my stream. You know, that's the glue that's holding them together, you know, to start with. But then I want them to have more than that. I want them to, when I'm offline, still have something of value that I've created for them, that I've provided them for them, and that at some point they take a vested interest in and help grow themselves. You know, they get people involved in the Discord, they get people involved in the games, they start playing together, doing, you know, I've got another viewer doing a Destiny Gambit. I'm not sure if it's a league or a tournament. Guys, if you want to be in a Destiny Gambit league or tournament, come join my Discord. You know, community tournaments. You know, but that's the stuff I'm trying to encourage as a content creator and as a quote unquote community builder, is a community that thrives on its own, that is something enjoyable wholly of itself. Even if you don't watch the stream, you might enjoy the community and the people and the conversations and the memes and all this stuff. And so my point here is that these people, these you know, can I play kids, for lack of a better term, or these open lobby chasers, are not going to be part of that. So they're not helping you in that way. And here you are bending over backwards for them because you want to boost your follow numbers. Again, and like, again, I'll say it again. You should stop being so worried about your follow numbers. They have their place and you can celebrate them. I don't have a problem with celebrating your follow numbers and say, hey guys, we're almost to 10K. We're almost to 20K. Like, that's really cool. It's a cool thing for your community to say, hey man, you've come a long way. It's cool to like celebrate those little victories along the way to keep you moving. As we've talked about goals before, to have, you know, something to reach for. I think that's important to keep you moving. You know, but your concurrent viewership should also be growing. Like that's what's gonna grow your community. That's what's gonna make you money if you're worried about the money side of it. That's what's gonna, you know, look good. You know, someone with 1,000 followers may be beating you in concurrent viewership and you've got 25,000 followers. That doesn't look so good, you know? That looks like you're struggling. And, you know, I'll say that it takes time to build up concurrent viewership. Like, you have to find the people that resonate with you. And for some people that happens instantly and they just click with people and they get a ton of concurrent viewership, even though they don't have a lot of followers. And there's other people that get a lot of followers and it takes them longer. Like, it's, so there's no one mold to fit this. And you know, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with having a lot of followers and and a smaller concurrent viewership. But these open lobbies aren't helping you grow that, right? They're not helping you find people that are going to be in your stream no matter what you're playing, no matter what you're doing. The guys that are in my stream, guys, they this week alone, they've watched me play Apex. They've watched me play No Man's Sky, which I was the only one streaming No Man's Sky. They watched me play Sea of Thieves. They watched me play through the Halo CE campaign this past week. Because they're not in it to play in my lobby, right? They're not there to play in my lobby. They're not there to even watch my gameplay. They're there to interact with me because I focus on chat engagement. And I do things that encourage people to invest, to have conversations, to talk to the people around them, to talk to me. And because they do that, they've invested in my stream and they want to come back. Open lobbies don't create investment in your culture, your community, your stream. And that's where the problem is. They're not helping you, and they're not helping anybody. And so the more you run open lobbies, the more the next guy has to run open lobbies to keep up with you, your viewership, your followers, and then the next guy down does open lobbies because everyone says, "Oh, well, they're doing it. It's a good way to get follows." And soon we have a whole platform where people only come to play in open lobbies, and they don't come to view content as an entertainment source. And guys, if you're a streamer, right, and you're listening to this and you're kind of scoffing maybe, that's a big fucking deal. Entertainment is your bread and butter. Like, you know, or it should be. Let that sink in. You know, entertainment, whether it's entertainment through good gameplay, entertainment through, you know, doing what I do and having conversations and high chat engagement and, you know, ranting, and people love to, you know, listen to me just, you know, blow up about shit. You know, like, no matter what you're doing, it's a form of entertainment. And if people aren't interested in entertainment, they're not interested in being entertained, they're only interested in playing. We as a platform have a big fucking problem with retention then, you know? And it hurts everybody. It hurts everybody. You know, it's and I hate to phrase it like that, but it just does. And I know a lot of you streamers out there don't care. You're worried about your bottom line. But eventually it's going to come back around to you, man. It's going to come back around to you. It's going to bite you in the ass in some way. I don't know how. You know, maybe you'll go try to play a different game. Maybe you'll one day want to stop playing open lobbies and do solo games, and your community is going to poof, you know, but someday, unless you're planning to do open lobbies every day for the rest of your fucking life, it's going to come back to bite you. You know, I really believe that. I really believe that. So I think viewers, they, you know, it leads to this culture of entitlement. They don't support you. They don't support other streamers. It hurts the platform. These aren't people that are farming sparks, folks. These aren't people that are giving embers. These are people that are just showing up, playing, logging off. They're not lurking. They're not viewing. They're not, you know, spamming your. They may come by and give you 5,000 sparks, but they're not going to be the guys that sit in channel 1 all week and earn you 1,000,000 sparks and come bring them to your channel. They're not community members. They're passerbyers. You know, they're not community members. Let me give you an example of this new culture. Guys, so the other day, doing an example from my real life, and some of you might have been there in this stream for this. I presume this is a child comes into my stream. It says, "Can I play?" Like many others that day and days before, they say, "Can I play?" And you know what? I'm not a super big dick about it. You know, I say, "No, thank you for the offer, but I'm not doing a follower games or open lobbies right now. You know, I like to play solo." So I explain it to them, and this person says, "Why?" Okay, fair question. And so I explain it to him. I say, "Listen, this is an entertainment platform. I'm here to build a community and to provide entertainment for you. It is not my goal to be Xbox Live friends with everybody in my stream. It is not my goal to play with everybody in my stream or play with all of my followers. That's not what I'm doing here, you know? And this is not an LFG site." So that's, you know, that's kind of, I tried to, as politely as I could, tell them, say that that's not my jam. This is not an LFG site in my eyes. Response to the viewer. You ready? Are you ready? Can I set this one up? Can I loft it up for you guys? What do you think they said? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to like think of what you think their response was. No joke, word for word response. "I will fucking kill you." Now, granted, this is probably a 12-year-old, it's probably not some, but guys, we live in a society of swatting. We live in a society of DDoSing, like in a culture, in a space of that kind of shit. We live in a society where people show up on your doorstep as a streamer, and knock on your door at 4 a.m. and they've driven cross country because they think they have some sort of weird, relationship or connection with you. We live in that kind of society where this is probably, we reported that kid, got his account banned, fine. But we live in a society where, that was someone probably most likely just blowing up and saying something just to be inflammatory and to really show me, to give me the what for. But we also live in a society where that might be a legitimate fucking threat. I have no way of knowing, like that's not outside of the society, the culture, the space that we live in as content creators and as people right now in the world. Like, so for someone to come in for any reason to my stream, especially when I've been nice and bothered to take the time to explain myself after saying no, because I could just say no, fuck off. To explain myself and say no, this is why, this is what I believe. For them to just say, I will fucking kill you, is no laughing matter. I mean, okay. I have a dark sense of humor, so to me, I chuckled about it a little bit, because I think, it's ridiculous. And so for me, I have a dark sense of humor, and so like I'll laugh about it, but it's not a laughing matter. It's not just because you laugh about it doesn't mean it's not a serious thing. It was more of a okay. So this is the culture we're creating though, guys, and by doing these. And here's the kicker, guys. You've been waiting. You've been disagreeing with me this whole time, right? You've just waiting. You're wishing this was a live stream so you could be like, no, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna do open lobbies every day, and it's not hurting the culture, and I'm gonna get mine, and blah 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 blah. Like, oh, it's not. These viewers are the problem and stuff. Here's the kicker, guys. Here's the thing that you've maybe been waiting for me to say, or maybe you haven't been waiting for me to say, but I've been waiting to say. And I'm gonna look right at the camera for the live video here. I'm gonna look right at it. We're the problem. You and me. We're the problem. It's not the viewers. It's us. It's not the viewers. It's us. We decided to do open lobbies. We decided to create a culture where people just are looking for that LFG experience versus coming in to view your content. And now we are saddled with hundreds and hundreds of people who are not part of our communities and who have these expectations of us that we are just there, at their beck and call to play games with them. That's the problem with open lobbies. We've created that culture, and we as streamers are the problem. We're the solution too. The solution is to shut it down and stop doing it, and to make good content, and stop relying on cheap gimmicks and cheap tricks like that. And we could talk all day about cheap tricks and gimmicks, and maybe we will another time. You guys ready for those spark rallies? All right, 8 minutes. 8 minutes of dumping your sparks in chat while I do nothing. We're the solution too. Now, I don't think open lobbies are ever going to go away. I just don't. Like, I think we're too far gone on that point. But I, for one, I'm gonna do my part to cut it out in my community, right? When hopefully as I grow and get bigger, people will just recognize that I don't do open lobbies, and maybe my stream will be well known enough for, no, I play solo. There's been a couple people that get like that, and everyone knows, like when they go on their stream, they don't play with followers, they just play solo. And a couple people I can think of offhand, that are solo streamers, and I already know that they're not going to do open lobby, stuff like that. So we're the problem. We're also the solution. And here's another thing you may have been waiting for me to do. Like, okay, well, I like to play with my community members. Like, who are you to tell me not to play with people when I want to play with people? I am not saying don't play with people. I know that's what it sounds like I'm saying, but let me explain. Let me elaborate. Let me deep dive into this thing. What I'm saying is don't do open lobbies. Don't let random people come in from the streets, into your establishment and do whatever they want and run amok. What I'm saying instead is do community games. do support games. One of the ideas that I'm kicking around right now is a less frequent once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. I don't know the interval yet. I'll have to play around with it. Either you could call it a community game, you could call it a supporter game. I'm waiting for channel ranks to fully launch on Mixer, because what I want to do is I want to say, okay, I will do a set community day, a set follower day, you know, whether it's once a week, once a month, whatever. This is the day we're playing. And you know, and I might even break my party rule and actually get into party chat with. Normally I don't get into party chat at all, so maybe I'll break my party rule and get into parties with followers and community members, but only after they're a certain rank in my chat, right? You know, whether that's rank 25, rank 50, rank 100, you could set the bar real high, because the people that I want to play games with, the people that I want to, if I'm going to take my time and invest in, are the people that have taken their time to invest in me. You know, and again, it doesn't always have to be, you know, tit for tat, but there are people out there who are spending hundreds of hours in my stream, spending money, spending sparks, farming sparks, subbing, being active in my Discord, being really, really great community members on and off stream. And those are the people I want to spend my time with. I've got a finite amount of time. You know what, man? There was a time when I might have, when I was doing open lobbies and stuff, where I would just spend my time with anybody, right? Anybody who walked in, equal treatment, because I needed the followers, I needed the viewership, I needed the whatever, and I get that mentality. I totally understand it. I'm just saying it's a mistake, and I've learned from my mistakes. And I needed that, and so I would have given that person the same amount of time as I give someone who's been following for 6 months and is in my stream every single day, because you know, I just considered everybody part of my community, whether you were new or old. Now I'm kind of changed my opinion on that. Like, if I'm going to invest and I want to invest in my community, I really like to give back to my community. I want to invest in them as people, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it for free, you know, if that makes any sense. I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about time, effort. You know, it's like friendships. Like, why would you keep trying to be friends with somebody who doesn't give a shit about you? You know, like, why would you invest your effort chasing them down and trying to convince them to be your friend when there's other people over here who are already like, hey man, I'm your friend. I'm already here. I'm already here hanging out, doing stuff. I've been here. I've been showing you, like, just be friends with those people that already want to be your friend. So that's how I'm viewing it. So instead of doing open lobbies, guys, I encourage you, do community games, do supporter games, put a benchmark on it, put a goal, make somebody be in your community. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time, I guess. You know, make them be 5 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours. I'm going to set my bar pretty high, because, you know, like we've talked about before, in my world, people come and go a lot. People are there for a month, especially when I'm playing a certain game, and then I switch games, or after a month, they lose interest, right? They come by every once in a while, but they stop supporting regularly. And you've invested all this time in that person, and this person just kind of threw you away like a piece of trash. And maybe it's because they got real world stuff going on or whatever, but you know, like, you know, everyone's got real world stuff going on. You know, you prioritize what you want to prioritize in your life. And so what I'm saying is do community games, do supporter games, you know, do sub games. If you got to make this a sub only thing, if you've got too many followers to do this as a community games, it's okay. Go ahead and make those sub games, guys. Like, you know, set some sort of benchmark and just don't apologize for that. You know, don't apologize for it. That's the thing as streamers. I think we get caught up, and I get caught up in this a lot. Like, oh man, if I do sub only games, what are people gonna think? Like, what are these other people who can't afford a sub gonna think? Like, you know, man, you're providing a service. You're providing entertainment. Not everyone's gonna be able to afford it, man. Not everybody can afford to go to the movies. Not everybody can afford to go to a concert, but people accept that if they can't afford it, they don't get to do those things, right? They accept that. They'll accept it here too. And I'm not saying that you should only do, you know, like that's the end all be all. Like, for me, I'm not going to do only sub games. I just don't have a problem with it, is what I'm saying. You know, for me, I think people can support in a lot of ways, especially with Sparks. They can contribute with their time instead of with their money. And to me, that's of equal value. So you know, that's why I want to base mine on channel ranks and not on you know, subbing status or whatever. So guys, we're the problem, but we're the solution. That's what I wanted to get at here. And if you, another caveat here, if you run a stream that's based on open lobbies, like that's what you do every day in, day out, you play with your community and you never play solo, like, you know, you can take all this with a grain of salt, because if you're going to do this day in, day out, and you're never going to deviate from that, and that's your bread and butter, that's your jam, that's what you want to do, and you don't ever have any aspirations to do anything different, like, you know, this will probably work for you. Like, I think you'll probably get more good out of it than bad, if you run that kind of stream. I don't run that kind of stream, so and most of us don't. Most of us don't run a stream where we actively want to play with our viewers nonstop every day. Most of us run a stream where we do open lobbies to get followers, but then we want to play with our friends, or we want to play solo, or we want to, you know, do our own thing without having everyone come in and ask, can I play, every 5 seconds. So again, depending who you are and what your goal is, you may take some of this with a grain of salt. I think in general, open lobbies as a general whole are a negative for the platform, for us as streamers, and for every platform. I think they're leading to the wrong kind of viewer entitlement culture. And I think that that's going to come back to bite us, man. And again, I've been the problem myself. You've been the problem. You are the problem. I, you know, am the problem to some degree. You know, I'd just like to see some people be thoughtful. Like, if you're going to run open lobbies, be conscious about why you're doing it, you know, and how long you're going to do it. And I would just encourage you to set some guidelines, set some rules, set some benchmarks, do community games, do supporter games instead of that open lobby. Quit using open lobby as a gimmick, and start using community games as a reward for your community, as a reward for your supporters, or as a way to connect with them. Not even as a reward, but a way to get to know them better, to provide them another kind of content, to provide them another kind of entertainment, without you know, it being a gimmick to draw in new followers. That's what I would, you know, kind of challenge you to do. But again, you'll either listen to me or you won't. This, you know, this podcast is so much like, you know, I rant about something and I give you my 2 cents and I, you know, blah, 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 blah. And you have to listen to me for an hour. And then, you know, you guys say, oh, that's a great point. And then you just fucking ignore it. So, you know, like, that happens too. But at the very least, what I hope is that from listening to this, you at least think about it. You know, that's my whole goal with the podcast, being thoughtful, being purposeful as a streamer, not just pushing the go live button and doing whatever everyone else is doing. Be thoughtful, be purposeful. If you're going to do open lobbies, I want you to have at least listened to this and made a conscious decision. Like, not just, oh, you know, I was doing it just because before, but now I've made a decision that I want to do it. I've weighed the pros and cons, and, you know, I've made a choice. Because at least then you can defend your choice and say, I made a choice, you know, for good or bad, I chose it. And that's all I'm after here, dudes. So, you know, be thoughtful, be purposeful, in everything you do, but especially in streaming, because I'm tired of seeing shit streamers. You heard it here. If you're watching the video live on repeat, let me say that again, because you probably haven't heard it before. If you're new to the channel, I'm tired of watching shit streamers. This is also one of the reasons of the podcast. Get better, be better. You can do better. You know, quit being shit. Shit streamers, not shit people. Although some of you are shit people too. Don't be either. Okay? Can I just say don't be either? Don't be either. Okay. So guys, that's the end of this one. The first one in the video spectrum done. Guys, if you want to support the stream, the podcast, whatever it is, follow me on my socials, Mudcat on Twitter, Mudcat TV on Instagram. You can go to my website, mudcat.tv, to get connected with all my stuff that I'm doing with the podcast, with the stream. You can buy shirts for the stream of the podcast at bit.ly/mudcatmerch, all lowercase. You can donate to the Patreon, patreon.com/mudcat. We got a lot of ways to support now, guys. And our newest new ways, we are partnered with GamerSups, so you can go get your GamerSups with code MUDCAT for 10% off GamerSups, and you can get 10% off our new affiliate, technicsport.usa, which is a gaming chair and gaming desk company. If you're looking for a gaming chair, gaming desk, and you want to support me, use code MUDCAT there as well. 10% off. Guys, I hope you have a great week. I hope you have great streams. I hope you take the time to think about what you're doing and to really make decisions and to be purposeful. Because in the end, I think that's going to make your content better, and that's going to make our platform better, and it's going to make us better as streamers, and make our end results so much more enjoyable for us and our communities. So, all right, guys, have a great day, and I will catch you on the next episode of Rants.